We beat life till it's not fair. I know the Father got me right here. The streets cold, better say prayers. I think of AK, I need a vacay. They put a bullet in his mind like an idea. Who to trust, world full of lust. I trust the Father more than any trust. We seen the greats really turn to dust. Yeah, ever.
Money talks and it speaks price. Seen the words try to act nice. Have you thinking it can buy life? You buy a heart while it's on ice. From a 3, she's a fly 9. You can fly to the stars now. Lean back, let your car drive. AI does it all right. Buy the world, but there's one life. Buy the world, but there's one Christ.
Yeah, said it when I started that I'm not the one who wastes time. Focused on the things worth mine. Father, you're the one to put it all together, cause you really had it mapped out from back then to right now. You're the one who's in control. I can never really doubt that, cause I've learned plenty in the years here. From the noise that I steer clear, gotta keep the mind up on the goal. Understand me on a roll. Yeah, the son of man of rolls. And I got a role that I'm here to really play now.
What's up, guys? Your boys are back. I'm Ryan, my man George.
What's saying, guys? How you living out there? Shout out to the free thinkers, of course. Shout out to everybody that's been following us on Def to Radio. That is our Instagram and deftoradio.com. Our website. Make sure y'all follow us on both platforms. Our website especially, you know, that's where we're going to be focusing on the vast majority of our, the requests that you guys give us. That's where our attention is going to be. That's where this really got on our radar, the M.anifest 50 Years Freestyle. So make sure y'all join both platforms. The information for both will be in the description.
And as always, guys, make sure you like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Make sure it's set to all so you get all our videos as they drop. Up-and-coming artists, man, you know what to do. Click the link in the description. We'll do about 60 seconds of your song in front of one of our up-and-coming videos. Get you some exposure. So if you're interested in that, make sure you check that out, man. All right, man, M.anifest, man. Getting back to M.anifest, man. 50 years freestyle. I'm assuming this is like the 50 years of hip-hop. So that's cool to see, man. And it's crazy to believe that hip-hop is 50 years old, man.
It has taken over the world. It has been extremely influential. It has been a force to be reckoned with. Many thought that it was going to be a fad that would just come and go. And it said, nah, bruh. Nah, not only did it not come and go, it ended up coming and then dominating.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, beautiful, man. And hip-hop is why, a big reason why we even have a channel, man, is because we do reactions to hip-hop songs. Half this channel is dedicated to doing hip-hop shit. So the fact that we can even have a YouTube channel, we owe it to hip-hop, man.
Yes, sir.
So M.anifest, man, we've done No Long Talk. And we have done a joint that we just did before we even knew this freestyle was out, that we was going to put out, that y'all been requested. We ain't going to tell you what that is. And then we did the Africa Hennessy freestyle.
Yes.
And that's where we discovered M.anifest. So we've got some experience with M.anifest, but we're still early in just discovering him in general. So I'm excited about this, man, because we know he's slick. We know that M.anifest can talk the talk. So I'm excited to see how he approaches this 50 years freestyle. Let's get into it. M.anifest, 50 years freestyle. Mike Mills on him.
The truth lasts longer than the lie, no go lose God. Picture me rolling with the resurrected Tupac. In the world of refugees, everything is helter-skelter. Dead presidents for food, clothes, and shelter. We used to put these black dots on white paper. A paradox like a black church and a white savior, that's precise the point, like a two-god. Michael Jeffrey Jordan flowed at me while I'm too hard.
Yeah,
I came to bring the pain.
Slow the fuck down, though. That was a lot in that little slow down.
Yeah,
Picture me
buddy.
rolling Tupac, help to scalp dead hold on.
Yeah.
We got a lot to talk about.
And I kind of see what he's doing here. We've seen this before, right? We've seen this movie before, so I'm interested to see how he's going to kind of bring this to life. Because it's 50 years freestyle, and I guess he's gonna kind of go down the list of all influential, hip hop artists and rappers that he feels deserve to be, gratified and mentioned in this 50 years. Because he mentioned "Picture Me Rolling" Tupac,
yeah,
right? So "Picture Me Rolling," which is a song by Tupac, Resurrected, another album by Tupac. In a world of refugees.
Fugees.
Right? Yep, and I'm saying everything is helter-skelter.
Helter-skelter.
Yeah.
These are all hip-hop groups, hip-hop artists, just so y'all know.
So it still makes sense, though, right? Picture me rolling with Tupac. Everything is helter-skelter. It's like, Mad Max out this bitch. You know what I'm saying? So I can visualize what he's saying, even though he's bringing up these artists. He said we used to put these black thoughts on white paper like a paradox, like a black church and a white savior. So when he says black thoughts on white paper, obviously the ink is black and then we're on white paper. So it's that, right? And then he's talking about the rapper Black Thought, but he's also talking about the thoughts, maybe the thought process of being black, you know what I'm saying, on a landscape of a culture in a world that's run by white people. I don't know. I could be digging a little bit too much into that, but I feel like that's kind of what he was saying, like a black church worshiping a white savior. You know, it's kind of like it's almost like a contradiction, a paradox, right?
And it's interesting because he's saying we used to do this, right? We used to put these black thoughts. We used to me, that sounds like when he says we used to put these black thoughts on paper, we used to write from a place of revolution, from a place of change and creativity and the black experience. We used to do that. But kind of like a black church with a white savior, to me, it almost seems like he's speaking on the fact that there's a lack of that, and there's a lack of commitment to the black experience both ways, right? Yeah. Well, how do you have a black church with a white savior? How does that even make sense?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If you're black, it isn't representative of the true essence of being black, right? Just kind of like we used to be poets. That's not representative of the true essence of being black. Is how I'm taking it. But that's dope though. That's definitely food for thought on that, and that's at the beginning.
Yeah.
So salute.
Resurrected Tupac in the world of refugees. Everything is helter-skelter. Dead presidents for food, clothes, and shelter. We used to put these black thoughts on white paper. A paradox like a black church and a white savior. That's precise the point, like a two-god. Michael Jeffrey Jordan flow, that be why I'm too hard. I came to bring the pain, a method to this madness. 1520 Cedric Ave, that's the address. I was on some chill shit, these pricks moving cactus. Naija they talk shit, like a rapper actor. Not every skin folk is skin folk. Niggas pole pimping like they been broke. Mindset is do or die. For the cash money, sell their soul to the bluer side. Every slum and village is the same, that's jiggy.
M.anifest got something to say, man. Shout out, yo, Ghana, stand up, Ghana. You know, because we've been riding hard on the South Africa side, and we haven't had a chance to venture out of South Africa because, you know, they just hold us down. Ghana, if you want to get on our radar more, hold us down and watch our videos like South Africa does. Go look at our Nasty C. Go look at Aries. Go look at our Stogie T reactions. We fuck with South Africa heavy because they fuck with us. But we're willing to explore, and because we just know that there's talent in Africa to explore outside of that. But you got to fuck with us too. So watch the videos twice, 3 times. Get our shit to 50,000 like they, you know, with the
Tell your boys, tell your girl,
tell a friend to tell a friend.
Yeah.
I say all that to say that Ghana got something to say. Salute. M.anifest is killing. He had a lot of shit in there.
I like that he said not every skin folk is kinfolk. Not everybody that looks like you and come from where you come from is your friend. You know what I'm saying? They're not, you know, they don't have your best interests at heart. And he said, dudes po pimping like they've been broke. Mindset is do or die. Po pimping is a song by Do or Die from Chicago group, right? The mindset is do or die though. Like we gotta it's do or die in these streets. So they may not, all kinfolk may not be, you know, have your best interest at heart because it's do or die. You know what I'm saying? Because motherfuckers is out here broke. They po pimping. You know what I'm saying?
They pimping the poor, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of the poor is, you know, people of darker complexion, right? From the communities you come from.
Selling
you
drugs,
pimping them.
whatever the case, yep.
Exploiting them. After the black church shit, a paradox like a black church and a white savior, but that's besides the point. Like a two-guard, right? Then he said Michael Jeffrey Jordan flow. That's why I'm too hard, basically is what he said, right? That's beside the point. Obviously, Michael Jordan is who he's talking about. I don't want to say obviously, but Michael Jordan is who he's talking about. Besides the point, like a two-guard. Michael Jordan was the two-guard in basketball. He played the two-guard position in basketball, right? The shooting guard, right? But what he's saying is I have a Michael Jordan flow. Michael Jordan was the best basketball player by many people's opinions of all time. So I got an incredible all-time great flow is what he's saying. But
I came to bring the pain. Hardcore through the burnt.
Now, who's he referencing? What song is that, sir? That is
Method Man.
Bring the Pain.
Yeah.
1520 Cedric Ave. That's a reference to the Bronx, man. Hip hop was discovered in the Bronx. So when he says that's the address and he's doing a 50 years freestyle, I think that's his way of paying homage or homage to the birthplace of hip hop. Naja Day talk O'Shea like a rapper actor. So I don't know if he's saying clearly he has his own native language in there, right? O'Shea Jackson, is it O'Shea Jackson?
Yep.
Ice Cube's name is O'Shea Jackson, right? Rapper, act like a rapper actor. Ice Cube is like probably arguably the first or up there. Him, Ice Cube and Ice T, they up there with rapper actors.
Yeah.
So he's referencing Ice Cube and rapper actors. Ice Cube obviously was, we're talking about one of the greatest rappers ever with Ice Cube. So
For the cash money, sell their soul to the bluest eyes. I think he's saying blue-eyed devil there. You know, I think that's where that comes from. Cash money millionaires Dude, they had a long reign, man.
Shout out to Baby
in the 90s
and them.
and them, boy.
Baby, Wayne, Juvie,
Yep.
the whole squad. BG, who just got out.
Because I'm doing whatever I got to do for the cash money to sell my soul. I'll sell my soul to the devil.
And sell my people out.
Right. You know what I'm saying? So that all makes sense in the scheme of all of the artists that he's referencing.
Also, that skin focus, kinfolk, I do want to state that Andre 3000 used that at some point in hip hop. He was talking, I don't know if he was on tour or something like that. I remember him saying, well, not every skin folk is kinfolk. So I think that might even be an ode to Andre 3000. But that's an older term that has been used even before Andre 3000. But from a hip hop sense, he's talking about 50 years of hip hop.
Right.
He also giving homage to Andre 3000 for saying that line.
Cactus, Niger, they talk shit like a rapper actor. Not every skin folk is kinfolk. Niggas pole pimping like they been broke. Mindset is do or die. For the cash money, sell their soul to the bluer side. Every slum and village is the same, that's a jiggy lie. But I won't hop on it like a young David did. Kalkana used to be my favorite bed. Put these words on the placard. We gon' make them mugu like LL in the Gap ad. Wearing FUBU. When I'm alone in my room, sometimes I stare at the wall. I'm in the back of my mind, I hear my memory score. In 96, I settled the score. It was written, I was so smitten by how you were spitting. I wanted more. Trevor took over the airwaves. It was rhymes galore. Miseducation was part of my education. I'm flawed. Foxy Kim, misdemeanor, nonchalant, Bahamadia, RZA, just a Wu-Tang forever, 5% of fever. Get at me, dog, I'm slipping, I'm falling, I'm finding my calling, the skies on my facial morning.
Yeah, he's talking. Nah, he's talking.
When I'm alone in my room, that's an LL song, I Need Love, right? When I'm alone in my room, sometimes I stare at the wall. That was the shit. Not only was he mentioning everybody, but the flow that he kind of got into from that point on was crazy.
Going back to that LL line, he said, we gonna mek them mugu, and then he said LL in a Gap ad and wearing FUBU. I don't know what mek them mugu means. Make sure y'all give us feedback on what that means. It sounds like it's something from his native language. So, anybody from Ghana, hit us up, let us know. All I know is when LL did that ad, when he was rapping in the ad, right, he had the FUBU hat on, right, is what he's referencing. But it's a Gap ad. That was cracking a code right there. He wasn't supposed to get away with that, but he made sure, because FUBU, LL was partial owner of the FUBU.
Right.
He's talking about FUBU clothing brand, for those of you who don't know. It was an urban clothing brand in the 90s, but just, maybe even early 2000s as well. So LL was still able, when he says mek them mugu, how I'm taking that, I could be wrong, but we gonna make them, we gonna infiltrate the game, right? We gonna make and get our name out there and make them respect us and make them recognize us, just like LL did in that Gap ad. And I think that ties into the rise of hip hop, right? The infiltration of hip hop to become the dominant force is moves like that and things like that. Yeah, we gonna make them see us. FUBU stands for us by us. So he wanted to make that statement.
Right.
Tomorrow, Trevor took over the airwaves. It was rhymes galore. Miseducation was part of my education. I'm flawed. Foxy Kim, misdemeanor, nonchalant, Bahamadia, RZA, just a Wu-Tang forever, 5% of fever.
Yeah.
Get at me, dog, I'm slipping, I'm falling, I'm finding my calling, the skies on my facial morning. I'm a big boy now, my currency, you couldn't reach that. A million or yours couldn't equal to these 3 stacks. The lexicon is changing hard.
We ain't gonna get through it. We are not gonna get through it.
In 96, I settled the score. It was written, Nas, shout out to Nas. I was so smitten by how he was spitting, I wanted more. That makes sense, right? He's like, dude, I was so enamored and so intrigued by Nas, it was written, you know what I mean, that I wanted more. I wanted more of this shit. Trevor took over the airways. It was rhymes galore, right? Busta Rhymes,
Busta Rhymes' name is Trevor.
Right? Yeah. It was, Miseducation was part of my education. I'm floored. Lauryn Hill made the album Miseducation, but you hear what it all makes sense, right?
He's floored,
right?
Right.
That's
just
how he learned.
In awe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When you said that, Ryan, he said in 90, he said, I hear my memories call. So he's reflecting on, I think, what inspired him as he was making his come up and he was getting into hip hop. I hear my memories call. I was smitten by It Was Written. Nas made the album It Was Written. I was so smitten and enamored, attracted to the way he was flowing. Then he mentioned Lauryn Hill, another person that inspired him. I was floored. I was mind blown.
Yeah.
Me too, by the way. It's one of my favorite albums. Yep. Lauryn Hill, Miseducation of Lauryn Hill is one of my favorite albums of all time. Sidebar. Then he brought up Trevor. Trevor is Busta Rhymes. He put his government name out there and shit. Yeah. But that's Busta Rhymes' name. Rhymes galore. But even when he started it, he said in 96, I settled the score. So the score is the Fugees album.
Yep.
The score is
Yep.
one of their biggest albums with Ready or Not and Killing Me
Yep.
Softly on it. Then he mentions Foxy Brown. Then he mentions Lil' Kim, right? Foxy Kim. Misdemeanor, right? Missy Elliott, Misdemeanor. These are all female rappers. Nonchalant, Bahamadia, RZA. Then he goes into RZA, Jizza. Now we talking Wu-Tang, right? RZA, Jizza. These are all members of Wu-Tang. Then he mentions Wu-Tang Forever. That's a Wu-Tang album. Then he mentions 5%er Fever. That's 5%er. He's talking about the teachings, right? When he says Wu-Tang was all up, they were all 5%ers, right? Get at me, dog. I'm slipping. I'm falling. I'm finding my calling, right?
Yeah.
We talking 98-ish now, right? We're talking about DMX.
I'm slipping. I'm falling.
Which is
that
it?
was hot. Never mind. Go
That's a
ahead.
great song. Great song by the legendary DMX. Rest in peace to DMX. He made the song I'm Slipping, I'm Falling. Go check that out. And Get At Me, Dog. These are two songs that DMX made. And this is the rise of DMX is what it seems like he's touching on. You know, the scars on my face show mourning. That was hard.
Scarface.
Scarface.
Yeah, boy. I'm a big boy now. My currency, you couldn't reach that. 1 million of yours couldn't equal to these 3 stacks. We got Big Boy, who's from Outkast, right? We got Currency, who's another rapper. 1 million. I don't know if that's Lil Wayne. A milli. I don't know if that might be stretching there. That might be a Lil Wayne reference. And then 3 stacks we know is Andre 3000, right? But does it make sense, right? I'm a big boy now. My currency, you couldn't reach that. 1 million of yours, of your currency, right? You couldn't equal to 3 stacks. It still makes sense, right? Even though he's talking about all these rappers. I think that's dope, man.
And when he says I'm a big boy now, so he was reflecting on when he was young. You know what I mean? When I'm alone in my room, he talks about LL, then he goes into I hear my memories calling. Now he's going back to when he was a youth and what was inspiring him. I was smitten by It Was Written.
Yep.
Trevor I heard rhymes galore. He's talking about it as a child, but I'm a big boy now. Obviously, big boy, like Ryan said, from Outkast, but I'm a man now.
Yep.
And I'm getting this money. We talking currency, right? But also the rapper currency. So just wanted to, yes, I think it's important for us to emphasize that he's making sense with it, because I think me and Ryan, whether we have been clear on this, have seen a lot of people do it like this, and they don't always make that much sense. They're focused on fulfilling the metaphor piece. Like, what is he actually saying by mentioning all these names? That we get the metaphor, we get the wordplay, but what are you trying to say? That doesn't always get fulfilled. So I feel like he's, for the most part, fulfilling it. There's some shit in here that I'm like, okay, you just do it. But for the most part, he's killing it though.
Yeah.
So let's keep it going.
I wanted more. Trevor took over the airwaves. It was rhymes galore. Miseducation was part of my education. I'm flawed. Foxy Kim, Misdemeanor, Nonchalant, Bahamadia, RZA, just a Wu-Tang Forever, 5% of Fever. Get at me, dog. I'm slipping, I'm falling, I'm finding my calling. The scars on my face show mourning. I'm a big boy now. My currency, you couldn't reach that. 1 million of yours couldn't equal to these 3 stacks. The lexicon is changing, huh? Money ain't a thing. Now every time I come around your city, the philosophy's plenty. It's the life after death. Get rich or die trying, I'm not holding my breath. I'm black on both sides, I'm being baptized with food and liquor. Broken language, that's the trigger now, let me bring it home. Paimuka makamaka, Philomena Pittige. Native funk laws, talking drums, hum where I'm from. A chronic writer, doctor, so let's do it doggy style. Hi kids, do you like violence? Shoot a pedophile?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But he's working his way. It looks like he's at Mood Music right now. Looks like he's shouting out Joe Budden, Mood Music. And that's like playing into what I'm about to say. He seems to be working his way through all the realms of hip hop, right? He mentioned Black on Both Sides in this just now, right? He's talking about Mos Def. Mos Def had the album Black on Both Sides. Mos Def is a conscious rapper. Then he's mentioned Life After Death, Biggie. Biggie, you know, we know who Biggie is. But Mood Music, Joe Budden is, you know, he had Pump It Up. That was a big song for him. But a lot of people don't even know about Joe Budden's Mood Music. They know him from Pump It Up and his podcast. They don't know shit about his actual bodies of work. Some of the best mixtapes ever, regardless of what you think of Joe Budden as a, you know, podcaster or as a personality, the motherfucker can rap. So for him to point out even guys like Currency and Joe Budden, these are underground guys that never really made it to superstardom or to visibility status, I think really shows that he's a student of the game. Clearly, this whole thing shows that he's a student of the game. But when you start getting into, you know, those styles, P out there,
Do or die.
I was gonna say me, but like Pharoah Monch, you start getting the motherfuckers like that. Oh, you really know hip hop,
Exactly.
you know. So I just think that's dope, and I think it's great that those guys, a lot of talented guys, man, that can rap their asses off, that have contributed to hip hop, that don't always get their flowers,
That's
right?
true.
Get their recognition. So
That's
I just
true.
think that's really dope. Cool. Let's see if we can let the guy finish up. Can we let him finish up?
To get native funk laws, stuck in drums, hum where I'm from. A chronic writer, doctor, so let's do it doggy style. Hi kids, do you like violence? Shoot a pedophiles? Blueprint, not in print, but we all use it. The Jermaine Codes, the Kendrick Lamar's, raising the bar, the Stogie T's, the Rest 32s, the paid dues, the A.Rees, the Black Sharifs, bringing reprieve, the Sample the Greats, the Little Sims murdering beats. Woo! How many execs wrote a check for cool hurt? Does the industry show a modicum of respect? Celebrate sure, but we should reflect. Provocateur, check my couture, I'm fresh to death. I give my all till there's nothing left. Festo, the best secret never kept. UNITY, what I'm bumping next. State of the Union and on my address. Hip hop. You don't know who you are if you don't know where you come from. No mystery in history, tradition has been passed on. I miss all the glitz, flash, cash, and the fandom. 50 years in, my guy, none of this was random. You don't know who you be if you don't know where you come from. Yankofa, Sankofa, tradition they pass on. See these narrows, dollars, pounds, and all the fandom. 50 years in, my guy, none of this was random. You don't know who you are if you don't know where you come from. No mystery in history, tradition has been passed on. I miss all the glitz, flash, cash, and the fandom. 50 years in, my guy, none of this was random.
I got something to say. How about
50 years in, my guy, none of this was random.
Yeah, I got so much to say about what we just witnessed here. First of all, I felt that felt authentic.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, USA was very dominant in the basketball scene, right? And we just caught a really bad L in the World Cup games, you know what I'm saying, for basketball. Like
George told me
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
about it. 'cause
We
I-
don't even watch the shit because we just assume
No.
we just assume that they're gonna win.
That's the point.
That's you know what I'm saying? What I'm trying to say is, man, like once upon a time, American basketball, we just knew that we were just destroying the world. We were so far ahead. Now, Team USA lost, and it wasn't like the A squad. It was some really good up and coming guys. So we didn't send our best to represent us in this World Cup. But the bottom line is, we were so far ahead that even our B squad should be beating everybody's ass, because this is coming from, basketball is looked at as like the best of the best come here, and they join our league, right? Or are birthed or spawned from this. This is a real long analogy to say that I feel the same way about hip hop overseas. When we talk about UK rap, African rap, when we talking South Africa, Ghana, Nigeria, you know what I mean? M.I. Abaga is nasty. You know what I mean?
ugly.
Pretty ugly. Nasty. Stogie T. We know Stogie T is like my favorite lyricist. I think he's the greatest lyricist that I've heard thus far in South Africa, right? And one of the best lyricists in the game. We got Nasty C. We got A. Reese. Wretch 3-2. Now he went to the UK. He went to the UK.
Yep.
He mentioned Lil Sims, who's also a UK rapper.
Avlino.
Yeah.
Av motherfucking Lino.
Just to throw that out there that Avlino was nasty for UK. But my point is, man, hip hop has gone international now. And back in the day when I was coming up in the 90s, a lot of these people that he's mentioning, man, ruled the scene. And maybe because the internet wasn't available, maybe y'all have always been bombing and had great lyricists over there. But from what I remember, because I would hear little lyricists here and there coming over, y'all wasn't spitting like this. From what I remember, the small bit of exposure, international guys, especially we talk about UK, were not spitting like this. So I feel like, just like, the world has caught up to Team USA in basketball, that's a really long way of like bringing it home. I feel like in hip hop, the same thing is happening. I feel like y'all motherfuckers have caught up. Some of the best rappers in the world now come from different countries and different regions. And he touched on that with Stogie T, Wretch 3-2, A. Reese, throw Nasty C in there. All these guys. He mentioned some people from his native country, I believe, as well, that maybe I just don't know. So salute to him for that.
When he said Blueprint is not in print, but we all use it, obviously we know Jay-Z had the album The Blueprint, right? And what I think he's saying there when he says the blueprint is not in print, but we all use it, I think the game is to be sold, not told, right? Yeah. We all use certain codes, and we all live a certain way by creed. We all kind of have a structure in how we live our lives, especially when you're in these areas coming up in like these rough areas, So there is a blueprint of how you're supposed to move in life. but it's not readily available. People aren't just giving game all the time to you. You know what I mean? But we all use it though. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
You know what I mean? And obviously it's a shout out to Jay-Z as well. But
and he used to add to that, we use Jay-Z's blueprint.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not in print, it's not in a book.
Right.
But we grew up. Hip hop raised us, so we use
Right.
that blueprint. Yep.
so I love that. And he touched the Kendricks and the Coles, right? Raising the bar. I love that, man. He even mentioned A. Reese in here, man. I love that. I even mentioned Queen Latifah, UNITY, right, is what I'm bumping next, I think is what he was saying. And he mentioned State of the Union, right, Public Enemy, right, End of My Address, Hip Hop Hooray, which is Naughty by Nature. Oh, hey, hold up. I loved how he kind of went through the whole, gauntlet of hip hop just influencers, man,
Yeah.
and how hip hop has kind of, molded hip hop and molded him in a way to make him who he is. And he didn't mention just the big dogs, like you said. He mentioned people that maybe was influential to him. When you said that you think other countries have caught up to us, I agree with that. But I do think it's because of almost like the tutelage that they get from these great hip hop people that they see and kind of take from and kind of craft their own skill and their own and master their own craft in their own way and kind of make it their own. I love when I could see an artist or anybody, but we're talking about an artist. When I can see an artist or a hip hop artist really take what they've seen over the years and really take it to heart and kind of make it their own, man. That's a beautiful thing, man. And so, yes, I know he's talking about 50 years of hip hop and what hip hop has done for the culture, but I feel like he's more so talking about what it's done to him to get him in the place that he's at and just kind of frame and mold his mind and his craft and kind of, sword sharpen sword, so to speak, right? I feel like he really takes what he's learned and what he's seen in hip hop and kind of crafted his own niche and kind of mastered his own way of rapping.
Let's do a speed round here. Get Rich or Die Trying. We know that's 50. You know what I mean? Holding My Breath. I'm Black on Both Sides. Most Def. Being Baptized with Food and Liquor. Lupe Fiasco made the album Food and Liquor. Most Def made the album Black on Both Sides. We know 50 made the album Get Rich or Die Trying. Yep. Broken Language, That's a Trigger. Now let me bring it home. And then he talked about Native Funk Lords. I guess that's people where he's from. A chronic writer, Doctor's Orders to do it doggy style. Yeah. So we know Dr. Dre made the album The Chronic. Doctor, we call them Doctor's Orders, right? Doggy Style is also a Snoop Dogg album, first Snoop Dogg album. Hi Kids, that's the start of Eminem's song.
Do you like violence?
My Name Is by Eminem, so he's shouting out Eminem. The Jermaine Coles, the Kendrick Lamar's, Raising the Bar. I love that he said that. First of all, he's spanning gender because he talked about female rappers, and he's spanning old school rap, talking about old school rappers, Bahamadia, for example. And now we're talking about generations. So he's showing love across the board. Then he's showing love internationally, like I said. So this is international. Then it's women and men. Then it's old school guys. Then it's new school guys. And lastly, I want to end it on this, man. I mean, we can't touch literally every line, even though we're trying. I'm trying. How many execs wrote a check for Kool Herc? Does the industry show a modicum of respect? Celebrate, sure, we should reflect. Let's celebrate the history of hip hop, but we need to reflect on the people who started this shit and how we got here. Because no one would be here. We wouldn't have a YouTube channel. No one would be here without people like Kool Herc, who literally pioneered it, right? We talking about Kool Herc, Furious 5, and all these guys, Melly Mel, right? It's unfortunate how things work sometimes, but the what do they say? Sometimes the people who start an industry don't receive or reap the benefits of that industry blossoming, right? If you didn't make certain moves business-wise, you don't always get maybe what you should get. You're just due. Right. At the very least, we need to show these guys respect and love and keep their names alive because they started this. And he said, you don't know who you are if you don't know where you come from. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's his way of saying, by paying homage to all these great artists that have inspired them, it's just keeping the culture alive. How do I know who I am or what I'm about if I don't study the history? How do I know what this hip-hop thing is supposed to be about if I don't show love to the greats, right? I gotta know where I come from. I gotta show love to that, right? It inspired me to become who I am. Salute, man, to M.anifest.
That was dope, man.
That was incredible, man. Give us more from Mr. M.anifest, man. I don't know if he has an album coming out this year. Definitely hook us up with more M.anifest. Salute, man. That was dope. That's the end of the video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Make sure y'all check us out on deftoradio.com. Get your request in on that site. Join the site. Great way to support the channel, man. The information for that will be in the description. I'm George. That's Ryan. Lost to Vegas.
We out.